All right, Memo Akwabadaba was one TV. 11:26 p.m. Ghana time. Mini baby awo America baby bia obi Memo Akwaba. Kindly share the video. Ora kompra kwa Japan. Ana empo ne ho abasem. Na eyede asema. Anas Arme Yao Anas investigative journalist. Sese oman Ghana mu. Sese we rough obeto to sisi. Na obekaya abranti a wo free mu yi. Erade mfa ni crazy. Ameswale. No, ne Anasa Arme Yao na yedwuma. Kwa abranche no fa so wuye no na anodene. But there has been a legal battle between Honorable Kumpra kwa Agyapong and afi so Anas Arme Yao Anas. Because case no omo pursue case no wa Ghana. But ya anshada NCP. Etimi no ka say Anas Arme Yao atam case no at the America. Me no ka say $80 million and ababeda o say Honorable Kumpra kwa Agyapong wontua na afi so won fam pata abranche fe na Anas Arme Yao. We breaking news. Kevin Detail KT ene Anas Arme Yao lawyers atwetwe nkomo. Enti me towards me hwe niam me mete ansa fon light out. Ene se eja me konkonsa light na asa babim na de abugina po ene ni nuanom ni sigifo no moda monkoso na monye saa wate monkoso na monye saa na senia da okoka ana na nadu yesei ana moda mumputi blame no fama saa na mundundum kanea no she video no mame yenkode nkotie abade edi kan ono wa Kumpra kwa Agyapong. Give them showdown, let's go.
Showdown. What am betting you besi wa? Yes. Showdown. Showdown. What am betting you besi wa? Yes.
Etibino ka say showdown no onu mom na atimi ayi no Anas Arme Yao. Na me pa chaw emfoni eda so yi ebia na unhu Anas Arme Yao da. Na sisi yi na abeda wo say Anas Arme Yao ni mfoni yi ni. But ohwe mfoni na si ne city obeka say obi asa ya bo no anase ye de plaster bi atata na ho oyi nanim nsa Anas de enim say anu akata nanim nene no US bra court tenase abrantie no eyi nanim na we no enye nanim ankasa no no so de ade kakra frafra plastic surgery hu ne hu keka hu nti we no obi we say preview but in the main face in their mind yenkotie nsem we mu nkyire mu from Kevin Detail Last Silence Media woni lawyers for omudi Anas Arme Yao achi no edit atwetwe nkomo edefa sansem yin yenkotie bi drop your comment in a professional way and 11:29 p.m. Ghana time and ye class na na jopa America for them so say ba na no mo time na share dan kwa akire de but anyways yenkotie bi
Kennedy Agyapong or your former MP. A few years ago, announced the investigative piece by na FA football home GFA, and at the end of the day, no, Nyoma Bibrisi, one of his colleagues or any investigations near the day, Ahmed Swale, FMU, after that, no series of Nyama Esi, a lot of information about out from Kennedy Agyapong, a lot of allegations that were made against Anas. Say it wouldn't crumple Ahmed Swale, at a point Kennedy was insinuating on radio and on TV, say Anas Nimhubi. A lot of things were said by Kennedy Agyapong. He even went further to have a whole documentary session at his premises. Or Tunidin, who watches The Watchman, Obo video, trying to create the impression that whatever Anas put out initially as the original documentary, he has the original tapes that were hidden and all that. Now, fast forward, Anas felt to say there was a lot of allegations made. He thought he needed to clean himself because of the reputation he carries and also his work. Or ended up in New Jersey in a court. To make it easy for us, we are one of the lawyers for Anas, and I want to state again, Udini Evans Selassie Adika, renowned lawyer. Bepacho, can you run us through how it started and how we got to know today, say, a judgment in the New Jersey court, Abba?
Okay, Mr. P. You know, the interesting thing is, I quite remember that you were sued in the U.S. sometime in 2021.
Yes.
And that actually caused my clients to begin inquiring about possibly if if there was anything out there, whether it will be actionable in the U.S. So you have some significance to today's events. So shortly after, when you were going through your motion to dismiss, we actually took a keen interest in that case and reviewed all the pleadings. And during that time also, my client informed me of a video that was circulating on social media. I just say, "Yeah, papa no, and someone just like what kind of about my client." So, like, you know, as the intellectuals that we are, we started opening the books and try to see where we can lay a claim. And so, interesting enough, after reviewing the video, you know, in our training, there's something that we are taught. So, in your case, a case, no, it has to pass the test, and the case has to stand on all fours, which means that you do an analysis of whether there's jurisdiction in place, whether you have all the elements of each claim that you want to bring, you know. So we went through all of that, and my conclusion was yes, on the basis of video now, my client is send them, you know. You tweet back court, New Jersey, yes, and say, yeah, papa no video no, so yeah, papa no and the new some say, or kasi fee New Jersey. Now, when you say your crew move for so no, the diaspora is very important. Obviously, what you do is testament to that fact. And you know, there was an audience that he spoke to. We're Ghana for. They all take a keen interest in the happenings in Ghana, especially the politics in Ghana. So we thought, you know, there was solid grounds for us to be in the court in New Jersey. So I advised my clients accordingly. Now, when you say you're a lawyer. So obviously, he was an integral part of what was going on in the preparatory stage. At that time, I am a U.S. trained lawyer, but I currently only practice in Ghana. And you know, there was a team of us. I'd like to say congratulations to my learned colleague Oded Crow. He was a part of yes, he was counsel of record in Ghana. So I put him into the research, and we drafted a complaint, and like Mikhail a lawyer. So we did the work, and he actually filed it himself. So you know, after the preliminary back and forth, you know, initially the case we sued in 2022.
Okay. Yes.
We filed
that's what I'm
sometime
seeing.
I think
the complaint.
Yeah, sometime I think in the summer of 2022.
May 17th, 2022.
Yes. And you know, by law, no, there was a period by which Papa no Anka was or responding with what is known as an answer. But so Papa no Anka filed a response, and my case no call into default. Now, after a period of default, you can actually go for judgment. Now, a case near Fale, you know, we filed on 3 counts. But I couldn't say, you a chrome or a chrome 4. The second one was we did it in terms of or behind the medal of Yunia Ahmed Swale.
Yeah.
Now, the third one, so say, a serial killer in terms of Chinese for Bibridu or Ghana. And then the fourth one is or a criminal. The blanket word criminal. And then the fifth one by implication was say behind Woody Sembiana, that means say Biana and no trigger man and also no will be and I say perform the physical act that led to the foreseeable events, which is Obi a. So we also included a count that he is that he claims that my client a co-conspirator in multiple serial killings. So that was basically the gravamen of our complaint. And when it went on defended after the response time now, we began to make preparations to move for judgment. But being that I was in Ghana and we are all based in Ghana, we reached within our network and we partnered with two brilliant lawyers, so who I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate. Atawemega Esquire, he was the father figure of the team of lawyers, and a brilliant trial lawyer by the name of Andrew Dehere. These are all brilliant Ghanaian lawyers on this case. And at that point, we recruited them as counsel of record, and the case went. At that point, Kennedy's lawyers came in, obviously because they had a judgment for the full $30 million. And so he had counsel, and counsel came and also did his thing. Reopen default, they argued that they had a solid defense, and I think right around then, and I almost got judgments from Ghana. No, release it. In general, no, so say almost defense to case I follow
because
New Jersey.
We need Ghana. So case no
exactly.
In terms of no by almost case. Okay.
So as defense against, but the interesting thing is that defamation is no. Say come back there the work for court. It's a separate case.
Yeah.
It's not to be papa. You still have to prove the truth of it. And this time, in this jurisdiction, the law is the same essentially because but you also free other countries. There are certain times that even though of presidential value, I just said, judge into me so India, but to me the two senior. Especially in cases maybe you decided that type of a case. And Emrano is the same as Ghana. Procedurally, there are certain nuances. Sometimes in terms of certain dates, you have to do certain things by. And also in New Jersey, Emrano drafted complaints. We were fully aware that we were required to prove what we were claiming by a higher standard than in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yes, in this case, and not even that. In this case, we were required to prove our case not by the normal civil standard, but by a clear and convincing evidence standard.
Okay.
And they responded with that, and they were able to successfully reopen the default, which paved way for them to file an answer. And they filed an answer which essentially claimed that there was some sort of back and forth between him and Anas. And, we took it for what it's worth and we forged on. And we finally got our trial date sometime earlier this year and it was postponed. And then we finally went to trial last Monday. We started trial on Monday. And we put up our case. My client testified. He testified. He brought other witnesses, and after listening to both sides, the difference between what happened with Ghana and Johannes said, trial by jury. It's and judge, or judge back one I say judge me, no one I say judge me and send a big but normal people on the streets of New Jersey, tax-paying citizens, and in this case, we started off with veneer. That's the technical word for when the prospective jurors are brought in. We are from a veneer. The veneer of 60 citizens, tax-paying citizens of the state of New Jersey, specifically Newark, New Jersey, and its surroundings, were brought in, and after what is known as Boadaya, which is the process by which they are questioned to see if they have any sort of bias or anything that will stand
for Ghana for your vetiomo. Say bia
yeah vetiomo just say obi nim asem hu bia na so nim bia asem we fan ho ana say obi wo hwa bia nyame bi osom no so we went through all of that. That was day one. That took from area to the end of the day. And so on Tuesday, we came to court and we had our opening statements. They had their opening statements. And then we proceeded to put on our evidence. And at the close of the evidence, the jury was instructed, judge, in this case, judge, ometro emrano, na omodiama, jury, no ometro omeking kanchro first, no more so amo people omodibeko inside. Aquaco decide the different deliberations, me nim there some kind of trim, but me sure say make us almost pensing, okay. Okay. And you know, there are some more about Thursday about 4:30. Yeah, the church room running now, and there are some more 4:30. Into now, I say we be an 4:30. No, caught a right around that time, which is I believe consistent with the practice in I know it's consistent with the practice in Ghana. Into no, no cry. I just so you could be at Nana. Take a deep breath and reflect on what has transpired during the past 4 days. And about 20 minutes later, we got word that the jury. So as part of the defense, I think it's only fair that Meka charges counts now the buy and the civil claims now the buy. The defense. His defense was also although Oka said it was some sort of just based banter between him and Uniano. He came to court and asserted truth as his defense. And so
time I court to say sa counting na mode bono no say on it and us back and forth, right? The only claim or make it or say banter. I just say we can't wait to and share or no, they're not all can you say ubi to be more almost tomorrow.
But all you do court media that was not
and your son of okay ura court no G2
yeah be or maintaining the position say no can originate or that standing by no kind.
Okay.
Basically remember just or practice no crane di no onye boni bia.
Okay.
So to support that no or the move you try or in net to who watches a watchman. But the announced by as on only defense, and so the jury had the opportunity to evaluate that and factored that in the analysis. And obviously, it was not the weight that they wanted the jury to accord with. So jury never bugui. About 20 minutes later, the jury came back with a verdict, and there were a multiplicity of very quick. And there was a multiplicity of questions that were posed to the jury. That's the way how they arrived at the decision. It's and also unanimous. People who were picked off the streets of not picked off the streets of New Jersey, but they're transferred from based on address, voter registration data. And but within 20 minutes, they saw through everything and said no. So they came back and there was not even one juror that sided with Yapapana Samuakam.
All against
8-0 on every count and on every question that was posed to the jury, including damages now about no Biedun Komono. And also there was a unanimous decision. I just say it was a solid decision of the jury. 20 minutes say there was no doubt in our presentation to what you kind of lay people. These are not experts in the law.
Yeah, they are just
these are lay
people who just sat and used their common sense to come to a conclusion.
No. I would not say use their. I would not say use their common sense.
They listen to you and they listen to the other part. It makes sense though.
And then the law is the law. No judge in this world has any power to bend the law. That sort of conduct is what causes strife and war in places.
Yeah.
America had the judge actually before the judge read kind jury instruction, but catch jurors and say, "Oh no, only to be a and that's how it went. But you know what's interesting about Nisi and or a lawyer contrary, even though people don't give him credit for that.
At least Bonidina Anas working.
But you're Anas, Anas. Also a very astute lawyer. And some people walk cry a car on Jim Tumu, but sometimes a team of legal team to we come to a compromise. Now, he has been adamant about clearing his name because I have a personal experience of understanding. It's one of the worst things that can happen to someone.
Yeah.
And he absolutely took the position that he wanted a trial. He's not interested in any settlement. He's not here for the money. He's here to clear his good name that he has built over time. And in his profession, at this time, Anka also started doing one. So he always maintained that he wanted a trial to the point where sometimes there was a disagreement in the legal team. Now, procedurally, America, peace. Schedule say, and from this time to this time, staff that work out we are dedicating it to your case. It's no small matter.
I know. I've been there. It's not easy.
Before they will go to trial, there's mandatory settlement conference. I bet say at this maybe by this time we'll be say grown or they'll commit to the right senses and decide say this shouldn't go on because yes. And I acquire unfortunately me Anas disagreed with me, but I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million, just like the jury came back. As you know, in these days, we have all kind of tools that we can use to predict certain things.
Before you go ahead, this is where the contention is, and people saying 80 million, others saying a year 30 million. Now when you read,
well, we'll come to that. Let me clarify. Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
Okay. Complaints the coin. Yeah, claim for $30 million, $30 million.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And what I'm saying is that at the before the mandatory settlement conference, or before the jury is empaneled, even though my client had firmly informed me he had no intention of settling this case because he believes that he ought to go to a jury of his peers to clear his name. But maybe let's just prepare our settlement memorandum, be thorough and be reasonable.
Yeah.
And even though he protested, I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million US. Okay. Now you do settlement conference, about court. Now the lawyer say what he was willing to settle this matter for, and he said $10,000. So honestly,
it's clarification is very, very important. Normally Ghana.
Okay.
Into Muko Drew Hono, Anas initially, ne kind of simple street language, and the damages are not paid around $30 million. And the client and Anas Kasa say a woman saw pay $30 million, and yes, he can't all pay. In fact, he wants his name to be cleared, and then the priority of going to court.
Yes.
But because of the experience, now unim sibi anyo matiano, no client here and ask Kasa and say it would be better and to be reasonable to at least settle on $80 million. And I'll say, Okra no client and us, you did not really agree, but because he respects you as his counsel and as a lawyer, you people ended up around that money, around that figure, which is $80 million.
Oh yeah, like I said, your lawyer at Awemega, New York.
Oh, yeah.
And also come home. And Andrew D here.
Yeah, you are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Wemega is there.
Yes.
D here is there. Crow is there. Yourself. Basically, as we are speaking to you, we are speaking to all of them because.
Yes. So the whole team agreed on that, but he was the only reluctant one in settling the matter. But procedurally, we couldn't go to trial without actually going through to the settlement conference.
Yes.
In spite of his reservations, we still almost cut our demand down to about a little over half.
Okay.
But to our surprise, $10,000 to end the case.
No.
You know, I want to arbitrate and who said no, some way he's saying I'm sure so I can kind papers, no.
Yeah.
So he said basically go and take your gamble in the courtroom. So that's how we ended up going to trial. So like to go back to the how it ended, you know. So at about 4:50 on Thursday, the jury brought us in and they told us what unanimously what they had arrived at. But you know, we decided to keep it under wraps because there was a component there now. You multiply 18 million by 5, money do 90 million for a total of about.
That was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah, because
to do that. Okay.
Yes. And then you decided to say back to your board with coming public with the finding of culpability on Thursday.
Yeah.
You pay a coin, no, we ended up leaving that alone. A pursuit of ×5 because almost file motions be I just say or see a 2 boss na in terms of that and sana say one way or another I go back I could pursue that ×5 and I say depending on what happens be I me German and cafe. But at this time almost my court no say busa into so.
Okay. So at this point, you know, Oma Makote who say Ombeba 80 million or Omo Pentiswo. How many days do they have to file that? Okay.
So at this point, no, the next thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be a paper, a judgment. I just say court reading seal better so.
Yeah.
That will take a few days, and then after that, I believe there's a 5-day rule that's within which you can file that motion. So a bay motion, depending on how that motion goes, no,
okay.
We will get a chance. We may get a chance to attempt to get our ×5 of that 18 million, or a big manakaho. So depending on how that motion goes,
So for now,
yes.
18, no, Obintiminka said that is the end of the case. It depends.
No, it's not because hypothetically, so much to grab back 10, we still have the opportunity to go for ×5.
That is 50. Okay.
Yeah, and call extra 50 plus. Yeah, hypothetically, so much to back 10, we can go for another ×5.
You as a Ghanaian and also a lawyer and defending a fellow lawyer who is a journalist. This has been an experience. Do you want to share something with us when it comes to these kind of defamations and how comparing our judicial system back home and in the States? I'm not forcing you to condemn any, but I'm trying to find out from you. There are so many people in Ghana, they don't really understand how the American judiciary works because we are so used to the Ghana style of judiciary whereby things go a certain way. And I would say sometimes very, very slow. And sometimes you need to know something for even things to move the pace you want. In terms of how this case, how fluid it went, and comparing it to back home. I'm saying back home because I am more concerned back home, and especially when Kennedy presented a case which is the same defamation case, and he tried to use that as a basis that what he did was right. From your experience as a professional, I don't want to say what have you learned. What have you? What do you want to share something with us before you go?
Me percent me share all the young people in Ghana. Me show mon crying say the country is a young country, so I tend not to criticize too strongly. But Oman and young people need to take their rightful position in the country because you know, my only thing is that young people see that it's wrong or they know it's wrong, they need to stand up for their rights. The country is still young, so I would not be pointing any fingers at anybody. But we do my me American I'm school from high school I lawyer and you know I know America very well, and for the past 7 years, I was licensed in Ghana in 2014, and I've been practicing actively for the last 7 years in Ghana. See, I know the problems that we face. I wouldn't. I think it's a systemic problem that allows people to hide in there to sort of engage in certain conduct. Because democrats, say the system, justice system, if it does not guarantee justice, and then one day, there's going to be a problem. And Omano, I like to direct my comments to all young politicians, those who have entered the fray, about 40 and less. Let's not, if we see things that are not right, let's not say because you benefited from it because your party we want to say party we we're going to condone it. We all need to make sure that we are contributing to building a Ghana that we can all live in. And I would like to end on that. The system is not perfect. There are many things that we can do to also improve it. I will not talk about the substance of some of the things, but I also think the judicial in Ghana is burdened with a lot of work. There are certain things that exist here in the US that they don't have that perhaps need to be implemented. Some of these judges in this country, in the US, are ably assisted by law clerks who help them lessen their burden. But like I said, the young people in Ghana, we need to look at ourselves, because I've had judges tell me, I've suggested that, and I've had judges tell me, if a young person cry, but an office on here, who wants to leaky judgment at this car before the judgment is granted. So I will not be pointing fingers at, what happened in Ghana was a travesty of justice. I'll say that without mincing words.
The defamation, now Kennedy Winnie.
Absolutely, because I'm now a solid, which back to the maybe can say, before a court can pronounce someone as a criminal, there ought to be a due process ought to be followed. And I have a publication that is going to come out on this subject in a very near future. For the courts to have called my client a criminal without giving him a criminal trial was a travesty of justice. And the court in New Jersey rightfully classified that as obiter is dicta. It can never be a criminal conviction.
So that
because
was,
one of the things
that was how the court in New Jersey, the Superior Court in New Jersey, actually addressed that particular.
Yes, because the will be criminal. The will be criminal. You can bring proof to say the person has been adjudged to be a criminal. You understand? So the Ghana judgment by court jurors when we brought a police clearance certificate at CID headquarters through the proper normal channels, we got it. It was sealed before we brought it to court, and that was giving more credence than what the judge said about Anas being a criminal, because that is the right thing.
How do you feel as a Ghanaian lawyer, a young Ghanaian lawyer standing before a U.S. judge, making a statement like this from a court in Ghana? I feel it's quite embarrassing. Like I said, our country is growing. We are the U.S. is 200 and something years old. We are 60 something years old. So I like to always look at things from an optimistic standpoint. I hope that this is going to be a lesson, because Ghana is not Ghana. Just by dint of even some of your papa no cry amount for Ghana. Ufa Uber Krumwa. I remember say in the middle of the trial, Uber be a driver and I catch him say, I'm moving Ghana, tourism country. Mano is young, but it's a country that we all need to protect and we need to guard zealously. And that starts from the delivery of justice, because no one should have to feel that they need to go outside the four corners of Ghana to get justice. Justice emanates from the people, and we have enough people in Ghana. Because I saw recently, judges know. They are educating people about the jury system.
Ubia Jitum say, as part of our civic responsibility, it will also go a long way, along with amending laws not to allow more juror participation in different kinds of cases now.
Lawyer Evans Salasi Adeka, or somebody Esquire. So thank you very much. And I'll also say thank you to your colleagues that helped. In this case, Andrew De Gea, also Arthur Wemega Esquire, and Aday Crow. I would like to say, really appreciate your time. You've educated us and also made things very clear to Ghanaians.
I'd like to point I'd like to point something else. So there were a few things that I think I glossed over. I think I told you said the threshold that we had to meet in the US was much higher than in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
And in that regard, no, one of the allegations that was made is that you are a serial killer in terms of multiple Chinese. What was appalling, crying and say video say proof. Say proof say you know I'll be dinner stand no say you know Chinese for no video no it was an embarrassment because it do on some video be I mean say preko na you na mo ya hangi wo unu say unku aboa o mo hangi ma moja no so no
and then on be sure say
me say no kwemu ni mintu na nka say no ana say but it was definitely what he said he was going to produce, and I think that really disgusted the jury because and it's not something to accuse someone of likely.
Thank you very much for clarifying this, Ivan Salasi Adeka Esquire. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate the minutes you've shared with us here. At least, what they say we are to rest for now. From your explanation on that's a case we enya end there. The response from the defendant, Kennedy Agyapong, the lawyers, so we're waiting for them to also file what they have to file. Now, I share where it goes from where we are now.
And just to clarify, any response, so Omono and Kanaya Baba times 5 for no.
Yeah.
The assembly to say, yeah, no person more. Now, for the sake of transparency, no be any time now, or yes, we be yano na. Almost them judge in better so. The almost them when you're dance why we didn't say 18 na decided say we have some decisions to make. What I say you be chairman na kwa appeal, but the thing is appeal no the difficulty is appeal no US no answer no be to appeal no he needs to put the full $18 million down in a bond. Answer no to me file appeal no. And you know we I'm sure say depending on how that goes, we have the prerogative of deciding say we ever go for times 5 based on that 18 million if it stands, and I say almost so bad hypothetically even 10 and I say 12 krana will still decide to say say was up with a nice offer so bit canana what union I'm not saying because I told you union or no so a lawyer we'll work on we'll entertain that and decide say okay times 5 no and I say change now times 5 because there are certain other things that happen. There are certain things that also happen that will influence our decision one way or another.
Yeah. Lawyer, we will be on standby. And I know, sir,
okay.
We will come back for more clarification and education. We really appreciate you very much. Evans Salasi Adeka Esquire, he has been our guest. He is one of the lawyers of Anas Arim Yao Anas. Wachech and Senmu Ejujum Emagana for Ehuno Kreno. I really want to say thank you very much to lawyer Ivan Salasi. The other lawyers or counsels that helped him, and I said Omoba together as a team to make sure Anas has a solid or had a solid legal team backing him. No, Mr. Arthur Wemega Esquire, he was part of the council Anas lawyers. No, Andrew De Gea is also part of Anas legal team. No, and Aday Crow was part. And as you know, lawyer Ivan Salasi Adeka on your screen, he was also part of Anas legal team. No, so I'm going to make a quick turn. Maybe I make sure pictures and a video in court actually Anas legal team no basically wrote to the court to give them permission to film what was happening in court.
Okay, KT nyabotre mame na ansem no anodene. Menai. But Osha $80 million ana a US court, New Jersey. Or the the former member of parliament, Honorable Agyapong. Now, first of all, I would like to congratulate Anas. Hear me out, Anas. It is not easy to nail a big wig in the MPP like Honorable Agyapong. Case in the Sauti proceedings in a lawyer and edit to with Kevin Akobaditela and UTA. They did almost have a beer docket in so Ghana and no Honorable Agyapong. Edim konim kobi anko bedoge but minim da se Anas no osaso double as a lawyer no see there be he want to clear his name bia wabo bredro no e wo se odidi ne din ho na obi ti se ono abo Agyapong etimi make this serious allegation defamation way se wakunipa Chinese anafe so the death of Ameswale and so penning in Sawum or see there be the demu here entino or sad and court. Now US no Thursday I almost share proceeding as and ne and as I said no and a wee 20 minutes 20 minutes and your corner brow we're fast and reliable. We change DHL package. Now, court one utie di ansema kana that means Honorable Agyapong peso or so peso $10,000 not the pattern as said that it's not about the money. I said no Daddy Fred and so on your standby because Kevin Akobaditela say ono so obeka bi ono so bere ebe file na ordinary court because bra Honorable Agyapong obeka one what is a Kevin Akobaditela case no opache say jama Daddy Fred Babontin obeka nsembi edigu ono KT hu fin more of say lawyer no wasn't good and all of that and Kevin swear then etwetwa videos in the ato tinyame adoma senior Anas edi $18 million edi apa Honorable Agyapong ni so ayehwe na ayi ahono 18 no kra no ebetimi asa akwa animu ebetimi asa atamse no na US court no na sa na etie Viviezeri comfortela US court no say obi we need defamation case one word the other obetimi asa atamse no say lawyer na kan o say no na mra wo okay but one word the other Honorable Agyapong a file for appeal but before so be file for appeal on that no was say $80 million no with Timmy Aden edebe to kama and sana a lawyer for one court for no say yes therefore he can file for the appeal na ya hwe se ne bekwa kwesi mami ready comment kakra na menko KT obium na we de anadwobre Mirabel not to say Nana Kwakudi say it must also be a lesson for Kevin Taylor for defaming people. Patricia and say Rutherford Nyako say Kennedy has unmasked Anas. Nana Kwakudi say let's not be in a hurry because we didn't listen to Ken's lawyer side of the story. Okay. No matter it is US court in the menya sure say KT we no the bedi agro because one word the other KT no opek Honorable Agyapong wo twantwade o ani say Anas akwago prove we nine okay me ente KT kakra on Daddy Fred style no
the obetia enti and then they see what court the lawyer chechim Wa unko law school mi ano lawyer dwedwem ema ye nyina yate eye de ekọ the possibility yen can say for now the 80 million is so. The possibility say be 90 million is high, and the possibility say be 60 or 50 million is very high. Kennedy appeal in Kwadia and a lawyer no in the future no so person appeal I say of 18 table so near the two contain near kataso and sanya kwhwe appeal no, but for now the Kennedy beba abe den abe perka kra say bia yente so yate so kra mpo do ebia me de minim na bia etiba bia 14 and also times e de ho nti hwe de besi or say ono client here Anas in decide whether to apply for plus times 5 or times the no nti ene de yentumi kan ho asem say definite. But the Sijason ye can wasem. The Sijason yan second Agyapong. As we speak now, or the Anas Ayum Yao Anaska $18 million. I was say offi. Or so church on crowd tabi diaba. No problem. Anas and lawyers say omo chain. Yate so crano. Yetumite so cry be $400. $18 million minus $400. Monya calculation and a Kennedy Jadi Akaro. Inti say yate so cry be a judge no. Obeso oteso jury no na say 80 million ebia oteso $330 kra into 80 million minus $330 yen share the Kennedy betua and so asem. Now let's enter the courtroom na yen share the see court and the courtroom of New Jersey Kennedy Agyapong any Anas case na and the Kennedy he needs to pay $18 million. 18. Remember Kennedy the court also offered $9.5 million. Adena Kennedy pen or Anas a double number Kennedy. Na Kennedy saw up $9.5 million if you ho. And Anas I had a double 9.5 million mano. Eti Kennedy they now pen or Anas I had 2 amano. And then there was a Kennedy 2 Anas. Now court in summer a CNA and then Kenya show Mokra Moha Junior. Kennedy Agyapong obetia Oscar and ascend your court Kennedy Fui. Ba o man kakra no so bi account say o se ba o man $800 million onyim $80 million. Now see this when in summer see your court dey be am catch them. You see this particular guy na me catch am say me siu no your friend Dada Fred. This guy many Kennedy work court no or the misinformations be to abontene. My legal team no they have put it together and Anas Kennedy case no ni din be mu in court. These are part of the evidence Anas team no the legal team no edit. This foolish man your friend that afraid me echo. I will make sure say sika obeti okroma no ebe kuna to esika no ebe hunahuna na obenum eduro kunu ho. I am going to sue him. Now Kennedy case no so no this fool obemu. He was mentioned and he is the tool any other foolish platforms Kennedy Agyapong edi misinform Ghana for. Anas na one fan kono so Anas the ojana man koye. But I am going to sue. Because time a Kennedy Agyapong they be call court. I'm winning case no. Sa branch we betina TV so betina social media. Ya twetwa tape sin nego. E ka kire wi ase say judge no ti case no. Judge na endi asem ni ye. Obekọ court akokirem. Ono na be gina abonte be ka kire nkofo say, "Oh, case no Kennedy winning." Until today I want him to know. Where announce case no. And remember, oni Kennedy Agyapong na Facebook and otwantro. Mo amunim no. Monkanchen say Kevin Taylor say he is going to meet me in court in Massachusetts. I am taking it to him. Me say this time obiya beda because you want to say ya nyane sa enkwasiafo system anything na make catch boys bi say munya munkwasa na mudi no New York Street ni so a mu hu bebia mu bedi mu nkoma akọ me de all the nkwasiasem ne ba me so a I will catch you from your hole and make sure the Lord deals with you. Into so become as make sure say on krata do bibia gina na so. It won't send a message when come the Fred. Where Anas case, he was part of the evidence. Anas, the kind case. Time I mimi case in the buy, Sa Dada Fred way also kwasi ampenyi way etna TV so. Ocha atro eto judge no so. And most importantly, ocha atro eto court no so. Not just a referee, no. Because I was waiting. I got my legal team to compile everything. And he needs to prepare himself for over $5 million. Yes, I am telling him. Some misinformation or best sending in public about a ruling from a federal court. Anything I'm in the picture to sono. Into more munim ni biamon kanjan say me, I am coming to him. Mima a little bit of it right after our case. Because I wanted my team to compile enough. It would that afraid, Anas the enemy. Anas share that one for one back or two. By you, Sansa no kafa judge na otena me case no so. Misinformation a wo kato mfremem efa meme ho time anasa case no court. Wo beba American court abechirem. And I will make sure say over $10 million me may see you. You need to get ready. You need to get a lawyer. You need to be ready for what is coming because you're your boy who.
Okay.
We your boy who. Inti say why ready so be missing for me. I be the Kennedy Jebedin kwasema. Wait for me because I'm coming with a 10 million suit. Me catch you. So get ready. Now these are some of the things that happened in court.
Did that Fred and so at the end of during Honorable Kumpra Japan KT legal battle nonsense seminal. Ya papa no so be tenant from the misinformation me to ja. $10 million. It is say no Daddy Fred, baby be obi amechiaw in kratu yesi emfama. It is say no asemo 9 to 5 adwuma na ese umiem. Ana meboa. America dey America obi kaso do be court. Video be da but say na KT emeki comment say New York boys no wa modin but me no kasai Twini Jonas as na KT asem na kan one me ana London susu se New York wo say ono KT asem a wo kan so one omo a omo susu aye ready e dey ama KT omo nya nyom nkrata deda
nwura mu kwasia ajaguraja munyina atiti nwura mu akromfo akasefo obofo munyina na nwura mu wa kifiri obi ni munyina na nwura mu wa kifiri finance minister akufu adunia finance minister abuai kanu riatai wana mo free obi enu akwachi no to Kevin also NDC ni abua NDC ni kramaya na ukwa Ghana unkum nipa uti ada na otete yeso ukwa Ghana kwa na otete akwa ejimifo nyami zabro ni kwasi ukwa Ghana otete me kwa Ghana mi duru hono mo a mi ma speech mi gina airport mi gina hene mi ma speech ma be wura kuro nim obi e na obetu abejimi utie nyanse na meka chiro no Ghana is your country. Why is that ukwa Ghana na otete? Why ukwa Ghana otete for who? Otete ubi bayo de yi. Wasi abobi anu obetu bayo wi nti Kevin sua nyansa wi ase nyina hene no onya me bone da just oye NDC ni aboa onya me bone da na ma beka se den dai so na mche no onya me bone da oye NDC ni aboa keke utie nyanse na meka chiro no nti find your way. We are seeing a me more than one platform so that once been a good deal Lumba tem that Lumba na me see Jimmy no Lumba no and your crash no abewa fe no so am jono to suyansa yeso to Washington and we na to America kuruma suyansa we NDC ni aboa o party abapo wanti me Jimmy sa criticize na ma Jimmy fo nya de emi adwuma ma boys no on my system no bibi anya akri bibi anya correct my boys no utie nyansa na meka chiro no ti obi ansu nyansa nwura mu of course we are not too much obi si mu anu ma jimi na o ne kan ma ifi kwase ya meka me da quality and premium kan mu emunye fi akini ne o de na ma hu akwan aboa BMW mi am de anya obi ade BMW no ya mi tie kwa punishment Abraham we just by the way why obisi Twitter kwasi Jimmy BMW we na premium mama releasing in 2020 I think I'm releasing in 2024 but 2025 and I think some release BMW 2025 I'm releasing by somewhere September or so I'm so fine okay come on take it's straight up kwasa obisi Intisana na me catch na Kevin Taylor asama wanya dombi na mama be ha me ho abekasa na Kevin Taylor na dabi oyin obia onu ho o me ha me ho so na mchem wanya ndisi ni aboa keke na me kanya da chance kwa Ghana eye ukurom no ho yeni baabi akọ ntiale na kwa Ghana otete yeah yo me bawo Mumame.
Okay, enti yon don no. Enti asema keti eka on from mu. So won say boys bi nam New York wo ne ayu wo mu didi na tem. On the moye rough obeti o mo de o makofie. Viviezeni, people don't want peace. They want problems always. Etino keti ususo won krato no. Young don se memfama o. Aha, etino wabo ho no so wabo no. Obi ante hwe. Miensa kokoto obium. Na afe yenhwe some of the pictures or videos impo na eno no na me say we there will be against the law, the US court. Say bia ubohu say ye firme ono aba kompra kwa Agyapong na oti US court wo. So we no kra no omo je ho permission e de free lawyer for say person mu video asa ade na no ode no. I didn't they know them.
Case na course nde ewo eye court. Kennedy Agyapong na te wo no ne lawyer na siri trase amutumu se mu ayedin $18 million eka eda Kennedy tiri so $18 million na no kasa eni nyome bi a oye Ghana ena omu frustrating kofo omu the court popo kofo. The same case in Ghana we wini Ghana judges atam case na manso we wini obedu America osade sa case na ba ese me wini case ni o Ghana and America court said dabi de na ekoso o Ghana no sebio no mu bonkuro. This is Kennedy, the lawyer sorry kasa emfa boga yemre ye jujum me ma bloggers. The lawyers na kasa no e defend na emfa Kennedy so neto no ye pia na shekona. Showdown emre. Showdown at court wa din. Judge bi ani wa onim no. Eye clerk bi ani wa onim no. Bailiff bi ani wa onim no. Sa court we enya ho na kwaka, do you know who I am? Or do you know me? I say yenka, do you know me? Do you know me? Haven't you heard about my name? If you don't take care, you take care. Sadia de bini America court, e bini ho. Inti read my lips, and then na kwanchen, where Superior Court of New Jersey, and young kwanchen court. We any in some course or quarter, me ma gallery ni kakra. Akabo gankwan, the lawyer bakono, yehume bi wafa.
The papa
and a New Jersey Superior Court, Canada Agyapong, and Yemiana Shenche no. Ultimin Kasa, Boga Emre. Onim Obia Okakunano, Akoya, do you know me? Don't you know I am a compra cook Canada Agyapong? Unim semi free for sue. I am the MPP financier. MPP financier, a Juma Ba, a Namda Ponoso. Then chain a bowie, also Korea Kokon. Kennedy. 18 million at that table, so also per 9.5 million. Maybe 9 million the other day. Then chain a boat table no sono. We are also Pakokon. And the Anas a cocoon in Chia bro. Anas is 18 million in Chia. We then chin or boy Kennedy is a baby con. Obi say judgment today say na heaven by you. Ebeko Obiane a lawyer. Judgment today no. Heaven say how Ebeko Obiane a lawyer. But as a lawyer, the court fum na ka go out to war. I having to say the be no be can judgment today. Ebe say Obiane a lawyer. O 2 hours lawyers. I'm urinating. I'll be back. Fum no second door no room. Now that want to watch your lawyer. Judgment today say the be Ebeko Obiane a lawyer. Okay. We a court exclusive na me de mamu no. Canada Agyapong et no. I a court or kodo. 18 million showdown. They train the ball on Kennedy so pakokon. In the showdown and ye piano ko si enchen. Mommy enko enim gallery na na ekoso no. After this about atene chire. Sa akonwa no so obi atene makotene chire na ese emu aye ding. Boga kana no esi so. Read my lips. Boga read the lips no. Say oh Saboga kana no nesi so I saying na say eya jiegu $18 million. Hit. $18 million. Ya di apim Kennedy also tia. Ana asekura mpo me bo besia. Ana asekura me ho kire me ti besia also me bo besia pe 500k ma me fanya me nyoma. Anas. Utieti lawyers nyina wi a 500k die wan fama me dia me no ba ku bewu. Enti boga read my lips and waka lips na sisi no akotena nchen. Why say you say ni bra ba. Me de me ye kote beka me kote ye and me the evidence be kiro because when you say ebi mo ho magimi Kevin Taylor boa otan Kennedy we anya me Kennedy asemo Kennedy ni Anas na Anas we ni $18 million. They see o court no and me de kiro enye bosremu ka me ma blog is eduane edi Kennedy won sensem part 1 and 2 now koso Kennedy Agyapong niana o ka se nka nkodi MP no onie ono se court we see the trust kaba
adin mo adin ana mo obi beka se bia Kennedy wosika obetia masa me enka no kuro 18 million enye 18,000 a million enye Ghana cedis o dollars se sika no akompra kwa Agyapong obetima yi e de abeye project bi ebetimi de aboa ye mame mo odwom bi but we no o yi di amanas na we kura no possibility say sa number no betimi times by 5 no the lawyers anase mrama ho kwan wo US wo in terms of defamation cases obe oska akompra kwa Agyapong oska obetimi atua but maza utimize moyede na o pictures na e ba no kura utimize Jack ade ni moyede tina dani den na mekase o kasa ahwa no ne kasa yi enyo obi akeke na obetimi akasem bi ade agunu ho fi usori a nsem bia na wo kan de animu na bosiremu kan na wo kan fire disua de na Ghana na system ni nya duma we 20 minutes kura nnu 20 minutes kura nnu ye wie no obu pa emane entua sasika no na asset wo US na they are going to freeze it
akoko kontwa apetire ni TSC form Kennedy nuane nie we na not radio so ye Kennedy will contest the 2028 elections onie we see trust me bra de na wakofa be
me pamcho we de say anadwo we de obi ani hweka na meboa we anadwo abogana 12:28 am anopa it is say I don't know but ebia o bribika so far news na ba beto na no odene
kakra ya isi ye nende o me rekoma Anas akudi ase no obema Kevin Taylor 500,000 enti Kennedy nuane nie we na okopri seat na ya nto ama no omo nka no kre de otieche o de minim ebia omo busu apenya na sankofo no ebia omo wo eye African market ni bi no enti Kennedy nuane so nie we see the trust ye bo 80 million so no we see the trust
African market for ediwa de panam de Kevin Taylor
titi wo bi ka titi wo bi kire now Niniano still out to me say na why emre eduru baby no Kennedy nuano you can see amabodju krom nyiye pressure ba this year a court season me so me ba be court omo mu defame me me lawyer defame
eti se na ono so court no mesra mo amoso mo US na say o pese o court case yes Quimby na saying o pese o court case na fast and reliable o Ghana obetime tubata akọ US na akọ agwa dey akọ present two case against KT ebia also obetime nya kakra ya atafre enche kura case na enche 1 week kura enu ye be yama sisi ya the America system no bibia ya dwuma correct
judge in America I am going to court now let's watch a video they see our court time and a judge and a catcher Kennedy say he has the right to take the next action.
Me pamcho die ogina wa bo you know anas no anas no but pictures na be da bonte na camera so me say them so bob plastic surgery kakra wo nanim ni ade that branch so no so o lawyer ni o nti ono so wanya fosa. I never knew, Charlie. I see.
Okay, so we're exclusive. Uhuno baby, it's all on this platform. Meboni nyina mo ahwe.
At the appropriate time, and the court will address everything after the motions are filed appropriately and then responded appropriately. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Thank you. Okay. Good luck to everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much, Brett. Okay, so the court's decision, if we start at the end, the court is denying the request for mistrial, and everyone can file motions at the appropriate time, and the court will address everything after the motions are filed appropriately and then responded appropriately. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Thank you. Okay. Good luck to everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much, Brett.
So there's one thing you need to take notice of. Anas was still wearing nose mask in court. But over Ghana, judge to meet Tinoka says, Anas saying you nose mask na yendi asem. You see the difference. You see how our judiciary in Ghana. How bad some of our judges are. The judge sitting in that courtroom in New Jersey is looking at the facts and evidence before him. How you dress to court is up to you. It is your presentation in court. How the jury will see you. Whether you wear a nose mask or not, at the end of the day, it is your case, the substantive case, your evidence is what they are looking at. Because they are dealing with the law. They are not looking at individuals. And the law itself is blind. It does not look at faces, background, economically where you are coming from, or financial, or whatever. It's looking at the case, the law. They are applying it. So whether somebody is dread, whether somebody is wearing a nose mask, whether somebody is wearing a face shield, what is more important to the jury and the judge is that look at the evidence before you. Look at it and apply the law and let's see. But don't say, Senya Omubu Asemgu Anas so Ghana was that it wasn't the substantive issue Anas had brought to court. Anas trying to defend himself. In Ghana, the Edibueti Anas say yes, nose mask be Anas face mask be. Say Anas say yeah. That means Anas is guilty. This is where we are as a nation. Judge to me say because of face mask, nose mask, because I want you to look in a certain way in my court. You know? If you don't look that way, I am going to call you a criminal. I am going to label you a criminal. That is the danger in our judiciary. And that is what we need to look at. Are we looking at a substantive case that is before us as judges, as judiciary, or we are looking at the characters or the individuals standing before us? And when you go to Ghana, the judiciary today look at the people involved in the case than the case itself. And that is the beginning of our end. And that is what is running this country down. Our biggest problem in Ghana today is that when judges sit in courtrooms, they are looking at the individuals involved, not the substantive case before them.
Okay. 13 and kind of video credits goes to Loud Silence TV. The Honorable Agyapong Agyapong, breaking news, $18 million defamation case won against him by Anas Aremia Anas, not knowing this gentleman is also a lawyer, a fine gentleman. So I tell you, on also tenase, ama empo obi mfana nim emfanye form, obi mfana brand emfanye form. Senior KT Kano, our judicial system here in Ghana is very appalling, one way or the other, because Anas Casey, a better bontin say, or no, I compare quite upon wedding kunim. Na nkunim die na no because Anas Haremia went men in him and fan chair lawyers and as judges courtroom or an insanity they are atamasem na to baby enti we no me pawcho ebia also pese lawyer bi di wasema pa o pese o chiro bi kafia pa mesrew me kamfo the US judge and I said the law in the US at the amount okwa bibia betimi kama fast and reliable a chain DHL a board juma papa nti we no ono gba kompra kwa Agyapong okwo na odenkrata akwa kosi book so na wa ba be fale na wa pese mpo court no be yehu bribi e de amoma betanas no sebio so ono nso ye lawyer ni wakali trim na ono nso so aye na dwen se obekire honorable kafia papa obra yeboyi ahwe no ne kasa yi wate anya nsem bia na ese woka woni hweka wo de tena wa na hwe bi neko but no no suade defamation wonim asem ni mu a obeti back allegedly izemi you gonna use allegedly adena obeti man no kra entimi nya no kra but we see so pin am say hey minim ana for evidence bra na de ato opam na ekoya nim na ma conversation na yede so atase enti no my emphasis here say natamko Queen B yes Queen B I see the Showdown hurt Kennedy Vivier I see these lawyers will be expensive too, yes, no doubt about that. The lawyers nana kwa kudi wasi okatachie is coming Kevin so okatachie fifa mensa news no de ababeto abonten ba hu se ma me bi so abetu dia de man say sa nsem na ode ababeto say amanfo bi tata no na de en masa munye serious kwa fifa mo so akotro say nyame ya aduma Saturday no oba be di hu koma masa ni se ni pani bie kwa brane na agye $18 million no lawsuit ya da pa na ni so eti we dey yehwem nyame ya aduma ochina no pa no I'm sure that's going to spread to all platforms and we're going to see maybe a reaction also from Honorable Agyapong probably from the lawyer and I said in your very rough Agyapong so be our baba counsel me then hon sem na bebramo. I was wanting to kindly share the video and drop your comment in a professional way. But in all, let's see this picture. I mean, so far now, send out see hunu. So far, send out see hunu. Why you na nim makeups near the surgery kakra anyway. I mean, he's still covering his face and all of that. It's you heard the work we see. But that's so sunya bre. Anyway, tonight, kindly share the video and drop your comment in a professional way. When you come,